Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that might sting for a moment. Have you ever stood in front of a woman thinking you were reading her right, only to realize later that she had been admiring you far more than she ever said? Yet you missed every silent sign she gave. That uneasy feeling in your chest right now, that's exactly why you're here. Because every man has experienced that moment where a woman's body spoke louder than her voice and he didn't know the language. Before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and like this video because what I'm going to reveal is knowledge most men never get access to, and you don't want to walk through the world blind to a woman's unspoken respect ever again. What you're about to learn isn't manipulation, and it isn't a trick. It's psychology. It's the subtle, powerful way admiration takes shape long before a woman verbalizes anything. Most men think respect from a woman comes from being flashy, loud, or dominant. But in reality, the deepest respect grows when she observes you quietly. She watches how you react to pressure. She studies how you carry yourself when no one is applauding. She notices the moments you think don't matter. And that's where her body, her gestures, her tone, her micro-behaviors begin to shift in ways she can't control. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't perform for attention, but earns it without even trying. A man who has a center, calm, grounded, and consistent. When a woman admires that, she won't always be direct. Women rarely announce, "I respect you." Instead, they reveal it in gestures so subtle you only recognize them when someone finally explains them to you. And the truth is, most men misinterpret these gestures as friendliness, politeness, or coincidence. They never realize she was signaling something deeper. Trust, safety, admiration, and emotional surrender, without words. I want you to understand this on a level that changes how you see women forever. Because when you learn the quiet gestures, you stop chasing validation and start recognizing admiration that was already being offered to you. You stop guessing, you stop doubting, you stop walking away from opportunities you didn't notice. And instead, you develop the awareness of a man who finally sees what women have been trying to show him all along. Look closely, because the first gesture is almost invisible to the untrained eye. You'll see her mirror your movements, not because she's mocking you or copying you in some shallow way, but because her mind is subconsciously aligning with yours. When a woman mirrors your posture, your hand gestures, even the way you shift in your chair, she is signaling admiration and trust. This is her brain telling her body, "I respect you. I feel safe with you. I want to connect with you." Most men dismiss it as coincidence. They laugh it off. But the truth is, mirroring is a silent acknowledgement that you carry a presence worth following. It's instinctive. She doesn't even think about it. Her body just responds to the energy you radiate. The second gesture is the way she leans in, but not too close. Notice the subtle forward tilt, how her eyes focus on you like you're the only one in the room. Men often mistake this for flirtation alone, but it's deeper than that. She is leaning into your ideas, your strength, your values. She's showing that she respects your mind and your presence. The physical space she chooses around you, the way she adjusts to hear your words clearly, these are markers of unspoken admiration. When she leans in, she is quietly prioritizing you, and you need to see it before it disappears. Most men are too busy trying to impress her to realize she's already impressed. Next, pay attention to the micro smiles, the quick, almost imperceptible smiles that flash across her face when you speak or act. Not the polite ones that cover awkwardness, but the ones that light her eyes and soften her expression. These tiny bursts are the brain's way of saying, "I appreciate you. I value you." They happen in moments where you might think she's distracted or disinterested, but in reality, she's validating your presence without words. A man who learns to notice these details gains an insight that most will never have. Respect and admiration are often quiet, fleeting, and invisible to those who aren't paying attention. By the time a man understands these three gestures, he begins to see the patterns most miss. He begins to realize that respect isn't loudly declared. It's given in microsignals, in timing, in the subtle way she aligns herself with you emotionally and physically. Once you start noticing these cues, you stop misreading women entirely. You stop chasing attention that's already yours, and you start carrying yourself in a way that naturally draws the unspoken admiration you're meant to receive. Now let's move to a gesture that most men completely overlook, but it tells you more than words ever could. How she touches her hair, her neck, or subtly her face when she's around you. I'm not talking about flirtation in the shallow sense. I'm talking about nervous, unconscious gestures that reveal she's emotionally attuned to you. When a woman does this while maintaining eye contact or listening intently, her body is signaling admiration. Her mind is saying, I notice you. I'm drawn to your presence. I respect the energy you bring. These movements aren't planned. They're not manipulative. They're primal. And a man who recognizes them understands the depth of her silent regard, the respect that forms the foundation of emotional intimacy. Most men ignore this, thinking it's just habit or boredom, missing the rare moments where she's showing you she sees you on the level few ever will. The fifth gesture is the way she laughs. Not fake, but genuine laughter that blooms when you speak, even in small moments. Men often confuse charm with validation, but a woman who truly admires you will laugh in ways that are thoughtful, reflective of her comfort and connection. It's not about how clever you are or what joke you made. It's about how safe and acknowledged she feels in your presence. When her laughter is soft, unforced, and frequent when you talk, it's a marker of deep respect. It tells you without words that she trusts your energy and values the space you occupy. Few men notice, yet those who do can sense the difference immediately. It's the kind of laughter that lingers in her eyes long after the sound fades. Finally, watch how she responds to your boundaries. A woman who respects you will honor your limits without argument, without pushing, without trying to manipulate your reactions. She adapts to the rhythm of your personality, the cadence of your life, and the boundaries you quietly set. Men often think respect comes from grand gestures, but it's in these quiet acknowledgments that real admiration lives. She's not simply agreeing with you, she is signaling that she values your autonomy, your decisions, your presence as a man who commands both space and integrity. Recognizing these gestures changes everything. You start to see that respect is earned quietly, noticed subtly, and given freely, but only to men who carry themselves with awareness and presence. These aren't tricks. These are the secret signs women give when admiration has been quietly cultivated. Most men miss them, and that's why they keep asking, does she respect me? Once you learn to read these signals, you stop guessing. You stop doubting. You finally see the truth in her gestures, the silent admiration that was there all along. Here's one of the most powerful gestures that almost no man ever notices. How she remembers the small details about you. Not the obvious things like your favorite color or the team you support, but the tiny, seemingly insignificant moments you've shared, the way you describe your passions, the offhand comments you make about your dreams or challenges. She stores them. She brings them up later in conversations. Sometimes subtly, sometimes almost imperceptibly. When a woman does this, it's her way of showing admiration without a word. She's telling you, I pay attention. I value your thoughts. I respect your mind. Most men overlook this because they're waiting for grand declarations or compliments. They don't realize that real respect lives in these micro-memories, in the way she prioritizes your words and experiences, even when no one else is listening. Another gesture to watch for is how she adjusts her tone and energy around you. Pay attention to the subtle shifts in her voice, the softer, warmer cadence when she's engaged with you, the way her laughter or sighs match the rhythm of your speech. This is not about playing games or trying to impress you. It's instinctive. Her body and voice are aligning with yours because she feels a natural admiration for your presence. This synchronization happens without thought, and only a man who is fully present will notice it. It's one of the most telling signs that a woman respects and values you. It's her way of tuning into your energy and signaling that she's engaged on a deeper level than casual interaction. Then there's the way she steps back when needed, not out of disinterest, but out of respect for your space and your choices. Women who admire a man without words understand the power of giving him room to lead, to act, and to be himself. She doesn't hover or push. She adjusts herself, creating an invisible rhythm that supports your confidence. Men often confuse distance with coldness, failing to see that this gesture is a quiet marker of deep admiration. It's rare, subtle, and almost invisible. But when you notice it, it hits harder than any verbal compliment ever could. Combine these gestures, the memory of your details, the mirroring of your energy, and the honoring of your boundaries, and you begin to see the language women speak in silence. You start to understand that admiration isn't flashy. It isn't loud, and it isn't demanding. It's quiet, instinctive, and powerful. These are the signs of respect that women offer to the men who are truly worthy of it. The men who notice them gain a rare insight. That respect has been given all along in ways most men will never perceive. Now let's uncover the gesture that reveals the deepest level of admiration, one that most men completely misread. The way she watches you when she thinks you're not looking. Not in a creepy or superficial sense, but with a quiet intensity that shows her mind is fully tuned to your presence. She notices how you handle stress, how you treat others, and how you move through the world. This silent observation is her way of honoring you. She is mentally recording your integrity, your strength, your subtle gestures, and yes, your flaws too, because even those reveal character. Most men mistake this for disinterest or worse, think she's judging them. But the truth is, she's assessing your consistency, your energy, your authenticity, and admiration, the kind that forms the bedrock of respect, begins here before words are ever exchanged. Then there's the way she defends you, sometimes without even realizing it. Maybe she counters a slight from someone else, subtly shifts the conversation in your favor, or praises your choices in moments when you aren't expecting it. These are not grand heroics. They are unconscious signals of deep respect. She is signaling to herself and others, this man is worthy of my attention, my protection, my support. Many men miss this entirely because they focus on verbal validation instead of noticing the quiet, instinctive ways a woman demonstrates loyalty and admiration. This gesture is especially powerful because it's not just about her feelings, it's about her mind choosing to place you in a position of esteem without any external pressure. Next, pay attention to how she adjusts her energy around you in social settings. You may notice subtle changes. She shifts closer when you speak, laughs more freely at your jokes, or highlights your contributions without calling attention to herself. These gestures are more than friendliness. They're microagnon's way of showing that she values you. Most men overlook this because they are too busy performing, trying to impress, or seeking overt affirmation. But the men who learn to notice it gain a profound advantage. They recognize that respect is often given quietly, fluidly, in ways that don't demand anything in return. When you connect all these behaviors, the watching, the defending, the subtle energy shifts, you start to see a pattern. Admiration isn't loud. It isn't about compliments or declarations. It's about alignment, awareness, and instinctive recognition of your presence. The men who can read this language become almost untouchable. They understand the quiet signals that tell them she respects you. She admires you, and she sees you in a way most will never see themselves. Finally, we arrive at the gesture that ties all the others together, the one that separates fleeting attraction from deep, silent respect. How she prioritizes you without being asked. Notice the subtle ways she adjusts her schedule, remembers commitments, or makes small sacrifices for your comfort or happiness. She doesn't announce these things. She doesn't make a show, but her actions reveal what her words cannot. She respects your time, your energy, and your presence. Most men completely miss this, thinking that respect has to be loudly stated. But in reality, it is shown in the quiet, unspoken ways she chooses to make space for you, to honor your life, and to acknowledge your significance in hers. This is admiration in its purest form. Pay attention to the way she listens when you speak about your dreams or struggles, not just hearing the words, but absorbing them, reflecting on them, and sometimes referencing them later. This is her way of communicating. I value you. I see your depth. Men often dismiss this as politeness or casual interest, but it's anything but casual. When a woman actively remembers and engages with your inner world, she is showing a level of respect that most men will never experience. This is how admiration silently builds a bridge between two people. It is patient, consistent, and profoundly grounding. You also need to notice the subtle way she encourages you without overt praise or manipulation. Whether it's a small nod, a quiet, "you've got this," or a look of confidence in your abilities, she is signaling belief in you. Men are conditioned to expect overt validation. But the women who truly admire you give support in a way that doesn't seek attention for themselves. It's unspoken, yet it resonates louder than any compliment. This gesture communicates that she respects your journey, trusts your decisions, and believes in the man you are becoming. Finally, watch for the quiet, steady presence she maintains in your life. She doesn't chase. She doesn't dramatize. She shows up consistently in ways that are natural, thoughtful, and deliberate. This is the hallmark of deep admiration, a respect so genuine that it doesn't need to be vocalized. Men who recognize this learn the most powerful lesson of all. Respect and admiration aren't earned through noise, grand gestures, or games. They are observed, felt, and absorbed in the silent rhythms of connection. Once you start noticing these 6 gestures, the mirroring, the leaning in, the micro smiles, the subtle touches, the laughter, the honoring of boundaries, the watching, the defending, the energy adjustments, and the prioritization, you gain a rare insight. You start seeing women clearly, understanding their respect before it's even spoken, and finally stepping into the man who commands the admiration that was quietly being offered all along.